Hi, I'm Michael Santos with the Straight A Guide program, and I'm glad that you're sticking around for lesson number 6. You are moving along on the Straight A Guide program, and this lesson is about holding yourself accountable. You have got to be responsible for the goals that you are going to achieve. You have got to be responsible for figuring out where you want to be 1 year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And if you hold yourself accountable, you will always know what steps you have to be taking. This is the path that I have learned from masterminds, from people who have gone through struggle and emerged successfully. They didn't just wait for success to happen. They took incremental action steps with very clearly defined timelines. If you know what you want to achieve, how you want to emerge from prison, then think about what accountability metrics can you take to determine whether you are on track. It's very important to always be on track. I wrote about the way that I used book reports as an accountability metric. At the beginning of the year, I would talk about how many books I'm going to read. If I'm going to read 52 books during the year, I knew that I had a responsibility to read one book every week if I wanted to stay on track. I would consider that an accountability metric. But I would go further. I would make sure that the books that I read had a direct relationship to the success that I wanted to become. What does that mean? That means every time I read a book, I would write a book report. And that book report would say something like, why did I choose to read this book? Number 1. Number 2, it would describe what did I learn from reading this book? Number 3, it would define how will having read this book contribute to my success upon release? The cool thing is that by accumulating these accountability metrics, kind of like report cards or quarterly reports, I could build this big stack of validations that I could use to advance my cause. And I did that when I came home. I would tell people, don't look at what I did while I was in prison by all of my accountability logs that I created. And I would say, I'm going to do the same thing out here in society. And so I'm going to ask you, don't look at me as the individual who made bad decisions back in 1985 when I was 20 years old, but instead look at me for who I am going to become in the next 5 years. This is the path that got me through prison. As you can see from my accountability logs, this is the man I'm going to become in 5 years. I'm inviting you to hold me accountable. Here are the tools that I am going to use. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you how I'm going to do it, and I invite you to hold me accountable. If I succeed, I hope to earn your respect. That's the way you get support. That's the way you make your felony conviction irrelevant, because people want to do business with a winner. Be a winner. Create your own accountability metrics.